probably have looked around and observed what is going on. It either affects you personally, or you know someone who's been affected by it, or you've seen the people who are affected by it on social media. The political climate is tense, it is disheartening, it is hopeful also, depending on the way you look at it. And I think it necessitates that we get really serious about what it looks like to recuperate, what it looks like to rejuvenate, what it looks like to prime ourselves to be ready to imagine new worlds, to imagine new possibilities of confronting these issues head on. And that is, as I'm understanding it, heavy work. That is work that requires that we pay a lot of attention. That is work that requires that we give so much of ourselves. And I think in that process, we need to develop ways for us to cope, not only individually, but also collectively. Which is why I'm proposing that you start to take your ass to the club. I am proposing that you start putting yourself out there, even if it's not a club, that you join some sort of space where you're participating in collective movement, right? Dancing is a healing practice, right? Many cultures participate in it as not only a way to enjoy together and worship together, but also venerate their ancestors, right? I'm speaking personally. When I dance, I mean, if you've seen Sinners, like, you're connected to this information already. When you dance, you are accessing generations of information through your body, through your movements. Even if you aren't the best dancer out there, you still have a sense of what is innate about those movements, right? How to respond to the beat, how to respond to the emotions that the music is surfacing within you. And when you understand that people who occupy that space, people who are in that atmosphere, people who are there to enjoy with you, to dance with you, to share in that energy with you, are also releasing, it makes that power, that energy, more potent. The more we bear the heavy burdens of having to process, even just processing, right? Let's not speak about the folks who are actually on the street, right? The organizers who are doing the work in order to position us to make the appropriate changes that will actually result in long-term change. I do believe that there will be a reckoning when this is all over. And I do believe that there will need to be accounts of people who are vehemently against this. And the more voices speak out against it, the more we have a chance at pushing back against the normalization of these standards, the normalization of this fascist state, the normalization of the bigotry that we are seeing spread out casually. In order to cope, in order to have a foundation from which we are capable or able to build on, we must have inner strength, inner resilience. And part of that comes from developing strategies of coping that are allowing us to release, right? If you don't have a yoga practice, get out there and dance, get out there and release, get out there and get what you need out, so that you are primed for creating, so that you are primed for taking in knowledge, for taking in new information, for repurposing that information, putting out analyses, writing, doing whatever you can to create art at this moment, and doing your part in imagining what world may be possible outside of this. I don't believe in the great man theory. I don't think one individual is going to save us from all this, right? I don't think there's a next president. I don't think there's a next governor. I don't think there's a next mayor that's going to save us from all of this. I believe it's going to take every single one of us, as many of us as possible, in order to get in the way of this rising authoritarian wave. And in order for all of us to be available to do that work, one of the essential things is release. So get out there and dance. This is a very brief, short call to action for you to fight for your right to party, for you to get out there, move your body, engage in community, party, do what you need to process so you can be ready to emerge primed to create.